Good morning. Good morning. Broadcasting again from the penthouse of the mini mansion in Mississippi. And this morning I woke up angry a little bit because we have been ignorant. When I say we, I'm including me. And for some time, I've been wanting to make this video, but I really didn't want to make this video because I've been trying to tell people to please look at Robert Spencer on YouTube. He is a excellent source of information on lamb practices, lamb practices. So I don't want this video taken down, but it's really important. And guys, out in Silicon Valley, I'm not your enemy. I love everybody in this land. Even the enemy, I don't hate them. But we have, over the last years, systematically had plants put in our government that took oaths on books other than the Bible, swearing to uphold the Constitution, which, listen, that doesn't work because we are a Christian nation. And when we decree one under, so help me God, the gods are the same. So we have been ignorant, and I'm going to tell you, I have been ignorant, but I got my eyes opened. Not because I sat here and listened to Robert Spencer, but he did teach me what I went through. But I went to the Middle East, and I stayed a month and lived under a sharia law. However, I was not told everything before, during, or after the trip. I had to go learn for myself. I have my coffee here. If y'all don't mind, I need to drink it because I just got up, threw on my dress, and see my little tie-dye dress. I'm from the 70s, guys. I'm an old woman, but by the grace of God, I am secure in my skin. So, and basically that one trip, actually, over there, I was fine single, but that one trip over there is why I'm not married and why I don't plan to get married, because it tore me up so bad that I just wanted to stay by myself. It was so heartbreaking and so evil that I just, I don't want to ever take a chance like that again. My heart is sealed up and bound and got a block around it, and I can do better right by myself. And I used to be embarrassed to talk about this, but I'm not now because I really didn't do anything wrong. I'm just like any other American woman. We believe in love, and when somebody's love bombing you, I had to go learn about all that stuff, and yeah, they all have the same script. But anyway, we have been ignorant. And our Constitution allows for freedom of religion. Think about that. But I want you to hear me right now, okay? Listen. Islam, I'm just going to say it, and I'm not Islamophobic. Islam is not just a religion. Now this is what they use. Freedom of religion. Yes, great, wonderful. You're free to come to our country and practice your religion, but you don't bring your political system with it. Really, you don't. Now I'm going to shock you. Here, they love death more than we love life. So they don't care to die over here because in their sharia law attached to Islam, if they die in the cause of promoting world dominance through sharia and Islam, then they go straight to paradise and get their 72 versions and beer flowing like a river or alcohol or whatever it is. Now that's about all they know about it, really, because after staying with a lady over there, I'm going to tell you a real sad story about that. I learned that most of them really don't read the whole Quran. It's just that they have been so controlled that they become cultic in nature, and they also are very barbaric. Now the Bible says that they would be like wild men, because this is Ishmael's seed. Okay? It goes all the way back to Abraham. This is Ishmael's seed. The Christians hear of Isaac's seed. Okay, so they are like wild men, but they don't really, practice everything in there. They pick and choose whatever they can because they are so full of hate and disgust because their lifestyle is so hard and they're controlled so much that they are like animals inside. Now you can paint it up, put a mustache on it and a beard and a nice haircut and a suit and a nice smile and be able to say something really nice and bombard it in front of New York City. But inside of there is a fierce, hateful, death-loving being that wants nothing more to open up a global intifada, which he did basically in New York City, against the Jews, and then he's going to kill the Christians. Y'all, we've been ignorant. I'm telling you, you've got to listen to this. When I went to the Middle East, I thought things were like they were over here. But I wasn't able to go out without an escort. I wasn't able to speak to a man without, another man, family man, whoever was hosting me. And I'm going to tell you right now, the lady I was staying with, I didn't always understand her Arabic, but I understood this because I'm a woman and she was a woman, so I understood what she was saying. Now, she was kind of like crazy, and she had every right to be. She had every right to be because she had been in a Muslim marriage, and she was telling me using her hands, and it was hard for her to tell me what she wanted to tell me, so she did. She was telling me, she had a baby in her stomach, and her husband beat her so badly that her baby just fell out on the floor. It fell out. Yeah. And then he divorced her. Now here's the thing, she's divorced. She carries all the guilt. She carries all the shame, all the guilt, and all the blame. Okay, she works for a little shoe repair place or whatever down there. And she can't marry him again. She has some other children with him. In order for her to marry the father of her children, the ones that did survive, she would have to marry another man first, divorce him, and then go back. But now, divorce in Sharia works another way. It's not like it is with us. You don't get separation of property. This is what the woman gets. I divorce you. I divorce you. I divorce you. You're divorced. He takes everything, including the children. Have you watched Not Without My Daughter? It's free. It's free on YouTube right now. Not Without My Daughter. It's Sally Field. It's based on a true story where the husband convinced her to go to Iran, and she got stuck over there, and he started treating her really bad. Y'all, this is basically what I saw over in the country I went to. It was just like this. Although they were a little more westernized over in one part where the tourism was, where they had, plumbing with their toilet, But when I was over in the old part, you didn't have, like, commodes. You had a hole in the ground. That's what you had. You didn't have water. They had to bring you your water. So it was very primitive, very old and primitive. And your word as a woman is not worth anything, in Sharia. They're so bad. And the men just take it out on the women because they're so frustrated, they're so poor. They would love to come to America, but my cats are having a fit over here, and we're fixing to get into a battle, so hold on. Hey! Y'all go downstairs and do that. Hey! Ah! Sophia! I'm making a video over here! I don't think we're going to get through this. I may have to go down to the first level. I hope not. Sophia! Hey! Sherman! Y'all go downstairs. Down now! Sophia, go downstairs. Go! Go, Sherman, go! They understood. Sophia understands everything I say. I have 2 cats. I have Sophia. She's about going on 4 years old. She's a female. And I have Sherman. He's about 4 months old, and he's a male. I had him fixed because I didn't realize he was a male. I couldn't have him around her because right now she wants a boyfriend, if you know what I mean. Poor little fella. He's like, oh, Lord, something's up with her. But I'm not raising no baby kitty, so. But he's so pretty. He's white, and he's very healthy now, but he was in bad shape when I got him. He had fleas all over him, and one eye was halfway up, and he was starving, and, But anyway, he's doing really good. He's very strong now, but he likes to play, and he has tore up my arms. You probably can't see it, But so, we wake up on New Year's, we have a mayor in New York City, the very city that has the Twin Towers that fell due to Islamic practices, an Islamic plot to do that. I can remember exactly where I was when those towers fell, and I think most people do. And now in the very city that was attacked and changed our ways of thinking and life forever, has now inaugurated a Muslim mayor. What does he do? The first day, he takes away protections for the Jewish community. Right now, they are very much at risk, and I'm very concerned. And you see, that's another thing. Most of you don't know what an intifada is. They've been calling for an intifada, a global intifada. They have intifadas in Israel where they are commanded to go out and kill as many Jews as they can. That's an intifada. They have 1, 2, 3, I think 3. Now they want to do it globally. They want to kill Jews everywhere. Please, people, if you don't understand me, look at Robert Spencer. It's time to learn because we've been so ignorant. Because I, like you, had no idea that this kind of system could exist. But I almost lost my life over there. I'm telling you the truth. Because I was in the room with a man alone. That was not my husband. At night. That family took me all the way to the other end of that city at 11 o'clock at night and took me out on that sidewalk and wouldn't let me back into that car, and I didn't know what was going on. I had to fight my way back into that car. And then I went back and stayed at the tourism office until I could get a flight out. But yeah, I could have been put in jail. I could have been killed. They're so, like I said, they don't always go by the book. They go by old traditions that are very, very evil. And the woman has to carry all of that honor for the family on her. We've had honor killings over here in America from people who have come over to America that do not want to assimilate. They don't assimilate. They bring it all with them. So here's my thing. Why would they want to come to America, okay, and bring what they supposedly wanted to get away from and make it just like where they lived? No. They're coming to take over. And it's just unreal to me that there's that blue again. It's unreal to me that the very city that was hit is the one that we're seeing the mayor. How does this happen? How does it happen? It's slowly being done. And with everybody aborting their babies, and then I don't know, but I guess in these sharia-run communities, they're having 4 wives. And with 4 wives and these very virile men, they're probably having tons of babies. So that's one way they take over, by populating this area, and they've planted people in our Congress and mayors, and y'all better wake up, I'm telling you. Because here's the thing that's going to happen. Hold on a minute. Sophia! 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 She's not in pain. It's just there's a male cat outside, and she's hollering for him to come in and let's get it on. I would go get her fixed, but here's the thing with her. I don't think I could. I don't think I could handle her because she's big. She had never been outside. She's never been, once she's been in a car. And I just don't think I could handle her. That's why I went to get the little boy fixed. I'm going to have to piece this thing together. I didn't want to be the one to have to tell you this kind of stuff because there are so many that can tell it so much better, but y'all just seem to keep wanting to shut your eyes to it, live in your little world. Your little world is going to change. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's going to change. God has given us a window here. Now, I don't think that y'all are stupid. Maybe our younger people, they don't know. They probably don't even know the Constitution. Hey, I don't know all the Constitution, but I do know about this. The Sharia that's connected to Islam. Now, y'all are not going to come up here and start that stuff. Come on, people. Just please do your homework, because here's what's going to happen. In Sharia law, okay, your little daughter, when she turns 9 years old, she's considered a woman, and they can take your daughter and marry her. Oh, yes, yes. Now, y'all don't believe all this stuff. It's the truth. So then I was there for a month, okay, and I went back to the more westernized part of the country where the tourism was, and a lot of people go, and they don't really go to the old city, but I actually stayed in the old city. But then I said I need to go back to the more westernized part of the city because it had a commode range. But anyway, I went to the tourism office and stayed, and then I come back, and then I was just a golden ticket for a ticket to USA, but I wasn't going to do that because I wasn't going to bring a liar, and that's another thing. Y'all have to realize that they are allowed in their Quran to lie to the infidel, which that's what you are if you're not Muslim. That's what I am. They are allowed to lie. It's called taqiyya. Taqqiya, I believe it is. They're able to lie. Okay? It is permissible in their book. Yes, okay. So, I wasn't going to bring a liar around me or my family or another American. Our Americans need their jobs, and I was like, no, you're not going to take away an American job. You're not going to sit and lie to me the rest of my life. I'm not putting up with it. But they are so good at lying. They'll say they're Christian, and they're actually not. Yeah. So, I heard the Lord telling me I need to get out of there. They seem to not be able to get me a flight out. So I said, give me the phone. Because I had a return ticket already paid for. But, I can't get your flight out. I don't know what they had up their sleeve there. But I said, give me that phone. I took that phone and I said, look, I need to get back to America. I'm not feeling very well. I'm an American citizen. I need to get back as soon as possible. They had me on a flight the next morning, early, like 11:30. I don't know. But I will say this about the flight, Royal Jordanian. They are wonderful. They are. They're very, very clean and good. I was very impressed. On the way over there, I sat next to a teenager from Yemen. That girl was so precious, and then I've thought about her several times, prayed for her and her family. They had a big family. We were on this big plane where, in the center was like 5 people, then you had 2 people on each side, and the aisle in the middle. We had a meal together, and we tried to talk. We didn't understand each other, but I understood she was from Yemen, and then later I saw where Yemen was like all messed up, and she was like any other like 18-year-old, or she might have been 16. She was somewhere around in there, but She was like any other teenager, that I know here. Just, y'all, please go to Robert Spencer. Robert Spencer is the best authority on teaching this. I'm going to give you a little background on Robert Spencer. Robert Spencer came over to the U.S. when he was a boy. His family were in Syria. Now, this was years ago, because Robert Spencer ain't no young chick. He's an older person like me, but anyway, he wanted to find out just what his family was running from. So he started to study the Quran and Islam. He's a Christian, so he learned it really well. So what he did with that is he went into the colleges in the U.S. and he started teaching it, because he really saw the need for it, which we really had the need for it, because in our colleges now we have mostly, well, it started way back when my brother was in college, started teaching these political things, that was different from, like, why don't you just teach what they need to know to get their job? It's not like that anymore. Colleges are politically charged. I saw somebody on Facebook, it was my Facebook friend, and he was an honor student. Their son was an honor student. They were real proud of him. He was standing up there, he had his, he was real proud. He had his, graduation suit on, and around his neck, okay, this was a young kid, around his neck, I recognized something that other people didn't recognize. He had all these lights and everything. I wanted to say something so bad, but I held my peace and I kept my mouth shut. But he had this certain design on this little thing that went around his neck, and then he had the red and green that kind of like, made a little flag on the bottom. And I screenshotted that, and it was a Palestinian little shawl. But it was like almost like a tie, on each side. But it was a Palestinian piece. And he was smiling at us because he knew we didn't know. But how come that's in our colleges? Huh? We need to start asking some questions. We need to show up. I mean, I can't do it. If I could, I would. But this is the best I can do, is give you my druthers here. But like I said, I thought just like you. Oh, let's help them. Let's bring them in. Let's get them away from war. Let's feed them. Let's house them. Let's do all this stuff. No. No. Because they're not. They should go to another country. Okay, there's other countries they can go to. They've inundated Canada. Canada is running over with Muslims. Okay, I'm sure they're using part of that. Okay. They come through the southern border. They have not come south because they know, pretty much know what we got down here. But now this little guy from overseas thought he was going to snow me into getting him a green card. That ain't happening. He hurt me by using me and lying to me. That changed me. But I'm not sorry I went, because I did get to see some holy sites. But it changed me. It opened my eyes. Really opened my eyes. And then I had to go see just what was this that was going on over there. And when I found Robert Spencer, I found it. I want to try to slip something in here on him. I'm telling you guys, you got to do something. You got to do something. You got to fight back. I mean, Trump probably will do something about this, but it's going to take, I would say it's probably going to take I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take something happening. I have been all over with this video. And I apologize. I just don't know how to bring it to you any other way, except to say we've been ignorant, and we have been. And I'm not going to say that's completely our fault, because we just didn't know. We didn't know. And we're trying to follow the Constitution. We want to give people the religious freedom, and we would give Islam the religious freedom, but with Islam comes sharia, and that's not compatible with our way of life. And we will lose it if we're not, we will lose our way of life if we're not knowledgeable about this political system. We will lose our way of life. And we don't want to do that, because we're the most blessed, free country in the world. And one more thing before I go about Palestinians. I don't hate Palestinians. That they did that to Israel, so Israel says no. They're not going to put up with that, the October 7th thing. And you can't blame Israel for taking up for themselves and want their hostages back. There was no reason for them to do that. But they're taught in school in early age, from little bitty. Some of those kids you saw on there, on the news or whatever, they're already been taught to hate the Jews. With this war thing that went on over there, they have a reason to now. But, it wasn't Israel that threw the first punch. They didn't start it, but they finished it. Well, they're never going to stop fighting Israel. That's their cause. They want to, it's just what they're supposed to do. They think that's what they're supposed to do. That's what they live for. And I want to tell you this, over in Ramallah, that's where the Palestinian headquarters are. Okay, so, all right, now here's the deal. If they kill a Jew, okay, then they are compensated for life. Okay, if a son or daughter dies trying to kill a Jew, then the family is compensated for life from the Palestinian Authority. And that money comes out of taxes, American taxes. So think about that. That's their goal, too. That's their goal. I'm sorry to hit you with all this heavy stuff this morning. I mean, it's just, I am not feeling good about the mayor of New York. Honestly, I'm not. I'm just not, guys. I'm just not. I think we're in for trouble. We're in for trouble. But, hey. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. I'm sorry about all the disturbances and everything, but I wanted to tell you, and there's probably more I could tell you, but I've been embarrassed to even tell some of this, because I'm like, what did I do? But you see, I was in a state of vulnerability when this guy found me online on Facebook. And how many more lonely little ladies are sitting on Facebook, and some guy from the Middle East gets on there and just tells her everything she wants to hear. I'm serious. That's the way it was. So I learned that we should never make choices from a vulnerable, I can't even say it, from a state of being vulnerable. We should only make choices when we are in a state of strength. So I found that out. So I learned that lesson. But all is good. I did see Mount um, Mount, I can't remember what it is, where Moses lived, and I saw the Dead Sea. I swam in the Dead Sea. What else did I see? I can't remember. I saw a couple of things, but it was very rushed, you know. And all the little things he was doing didn't really make sense, you know. When they made me, I'm not going into that. Nobody can make me do anything I don't want to do. But there I was, but I just thought everything that he represented online to me was the truth. It was, but you know, y'all watch out, cause I almost got killed over there. So anyway, and nobody would have even known it. I didn't have no. I went over by myself. But I always done things for myself. But you know, no, I cut him off real quick. No, well, no, I didn't, but I did finally just say, because you know he was lying about things, and I didn't want to have to live with a liar. I do better by myself. God treats me really well. I'm doing really good. I'm so thankful. But see, now I worked on my life. I worked on my life. I never had food stamps. I had 2 children. They're grown. They're grown. They don't live nearby. It's just me and my little furry family. And I'm happy. I'll take road trips down to the coast where I'm from. And I might go to a casino every now and then, but not really because, you know, it's God's provision. I got to be a good steward of it. Because I couldn't come back here and lose all my money and face my little babies and they're like hungry. I'm like, oh my God. No, I couldn't do that. But, you know, I enjoy my life the way it is. So, but after that, even, it just, my personal thing, and I've had people ask me out and people say, oh, there's something wrong with me because I don't want to get married and all this stuff. No. It's just that, why? I don't really need to. You know, I wouldn't mind having a male friend, which I did have one, you know, but he showed his butt and anyway. But anyway, yeah, I don't need to. I mean, I very seldom look at one, you know. Every now and then I see a good looking guy. I think, oh, he's good looking, but I don't think about him in no kind of way. But, you know, my mess is enough for me to clean up. And I like to have the keys to everything in my life. I like to have my own control. You don't want a man to control you all the time. That's not living. And the reason why I worked the way that I did was because I was in a controlling situation at one time. And I made sure I worked because I knew I couldn't live under that. Even when I did go to live in the house with him for a while, I built a house in the back so I didn't have to stay in the house with him and answer to, oh, you run the phone bill, oh, you run the electricity. No, I don't use the phone. I didn't know. And it all worked out to where I ended up exactly with what I wanted. This is what I wanted, and I'm thankful, and I'm living in peace. And that is wonderful. I had some elder ladies that I looked after before they passed away last year. And we said, peace at any price. Peace at any price. That was our motto. And now, of course, we don't want to step on anybody with that. But we can only control ourselves. We can't control what anybody else does. And if somebody treats you poorly, you don't, it's like, okay, well, I was doing fine before you walked in. I'll do fine after you walk out. So, there's the door. But yeah, when you get a certain age, you just don't tolerate a lot of things like you used to. My children don't come here very much, and that's okay. If they want to come, I want them to come. If they don't, I don't want them to come. Because I don't want to be like, an obligation. I want people to come out of love. And I do believe that's the way that God wants us to come to Him. He doesn't want to be an obligation. He wants to be loved because He loves us, and He wants us to look around and see. Believe me, when you go through a season where you're being purified by the fire of God, and you get everything stripped away, and then God starts taking care of you, and you live in grace, you will understand, you will see how much God loves you, and how much everything He does for you, everything, then you will learn, and you will know that it's He that holds you up, and then you will be able to love Him for everything that He is and has been your entire life. So that just about does it for me. I'm going to get out of here, get some more coffee, and look at this thing. I'm going to have to patch it up. So y'all have a great day.